Hi, I'm Tom P. with Garden State Adventures. It's the middle of December. We're down here at the Brielle Yacht Club planning to go out for a shot at Blackfish with Captain Kenny Gallup on the Big Kid. Now, the seas are clearing up. The remnants of Hurricane Sandy are finally beginning to dissipate. What we want is a shot at some tog. Now we're going to be at the Axel Carlson Reef and the Seagirt Reef. Two excellent toggers will be joining us, Johnny DeBona from the Fisherman magazine and Captain Al Ristori from the North Star Ledger. These guys catch blackfish. We call them in, give us a shot at it. We're going to be heading out in a few minutes. Let's go get some tog. Okay, Captain Kenny, we're on the Seagirt Reef, correct? About 3.5 miles off the beach?
That is correct.
Now, it's one of the reefs in the 15 artificial reef system. Now, I understand it's about 1.2, 1.3 square miles. A lot of structure in here, Kenny. There's some fire trucks, there's some concrete castings, trawlers, things like that. So real sticky bottom makes for good togging, correct?
Correct.
Now, how deep are we going to be fishing, Skip? Because I know this time of year, middle of December, they're gradually moving off to deeper water. Where's the bite? Where can we expect?
We're in 80 foot of water right now, just on the southeast corner of the of the Seagirt Reef.
Seagirt. Now, Skip, the bite this time of year, water's getting cold. Is it going to be, a little early when there's a womp womp on the crab or the snail? Is it going to be more tentative type of hit?
We've been having, for the past couple days, it's been soft hits, and almost as it feels as like a begall hit.
Okay, I noticed another thing too. There's some boats out here. It looks like they're going to be jigging for stripers. We have a striper run coming down?
There's a striper run coming down. They're all at the surface jigging them up.
Now, I want tide, okay? I want my blackfish. Here's the deal. I'm one of the worst black fishermen that we know. Okay, so here's the thing. Crabs on the bottom, you have your white leggers, you have your green crabs. I notice you have some snails here.
Yes,
What's
sir.
the deal with the snails?
Snails, we just break the shells off. They're like conch. Break the shells off, and then inside we use I call it the slug part, the conch itself.
That's scungeel. I eat that at Christmas Eve.
No, you could eat it. I'll use it for bait to catch big tog.
Are these natural down here?
We get them in Raritan Bay.
Okay.
When we're getting the white leggers.
I guess any meat around a wreck, if Todd's going to see, it's going to eat it.
Correct.
Kenny, what about this time you're using clams? I don't see you have any clams on the boat. More of a crab bite?
It's more of a crab bite toward the later part of the year. And then we started using these snails, being that we've been getting them. And
That's pretty cool.
Last week we had a 12-pounder on one.
Nice. Okay, and one last thing before we get back to the fishing. This time of year, fewer fish, but bigger fish? Is that what we can expect?
We're working hard to get our limits now, but we're getting big quality fish. Like I said earlier, we had the 12-pounder on that conch. So
beautiful. Captain Kenny, let's roll, man.
Let's
Fish
do
to
it.
catch, time to go. Yeah. Now look out. Tom P's in the house with Denise Marie's rod. See? Rogue Center rod, he put her name on it.
Oh, really?
What do I get? Nothing, Al. I get nothing.
Nothing.
she catches the fish.
This is true.
Felt like the beginning of a blackfish hit, but ended up with just a gold dibbles.
And like Captain Ken said, the bite is light, and that's what I was getting, a light bite. But you want that good sharp hit, and that's what.
Now, John, now they're passing that crab back to the crushing teeth in her throat, correct?
Correct.
So the initial thing you're feeling is them just actually starting to mouth the crab?
What they tend to do, especially with a whole crab, their mouths are relatively small. They have big lips, but their mouth is relatively small. They'll use their head and their lips and their teeth, and they'll actually try to immobilize the crab by hitting it and crushing it. And that's a lot of times what you feel. Once they do that, then they'll start mouthing at it, and they're biting pieces of it, not quite necessarily just like scooping it up and swallowing it, So that's why you're having the two hooks in this particular case here. If they bit half the crab, well, he's got half the hook set up in his mouth, But a lot of times they'll bite the crab, and a piece of the crab will fall out of their mouth, and you'll have other fish, scooping out and picking up on it. But it is a light bite for sure. And you had mentioned clam. I mean, there's a theory that in the springtime, after the winter layover, that their mouths are softer and they prefer a softer bait, and hence clam.
True.
Clam would be a more
I fished
preferred
the wreck
bait.
on Barnegat there years ago. In April, we caught all big blackfish on that record, only on clams. They wouldn't hit. They wouldn't.
Wonder why-
We had some crab aboard. They never got.
Is that just because that's what they're used to, or is it comfort for their dental structure?
I mean, when I was a kid, they always told me exactly what John said. You know, that their mouths are soft. And I don't know if that's true, but whatever it is, they seem to prefer the soft bait, and there's no galls. See, there were no galls on those wrecks at that time. It was just strictly. It was all big, just big blackfish. Yeah, and you could put that clam down there and take it up an hour later. You wouldn't even change it because it was absolutely perfect. It was so cold, the water was cold.
My little green crab is saying, "What did I do to deserve this?" Sorry, guys. Time to feed that Blackfish Jones. All right, looking up at the boxing electronics, Captain Kenny Gallup has us on some great structure. There's got to be. You see, it looks like there's some fish there. Oh, you're grabbing right. See what it is. Maybe it's a slack tide. I don't know, man. But I'm getting desperate for a tog here.
Well, we definitely got good bottom, and the fish are definitely here. It's just a waiting game. It's patience, you know. So that definitely humbles you.
Listen, one thing, man. You're in a bad snag there. Is it just a touch and go to slide it out?
Yeah, as long as you have a little bit of play and you can feel the sinker.
Oh,
No, I
geez!
got out of the stand.
I just had a.
You had a hit.
Oh, what a whack! God, I stink.
See, now we have current definitely moving us the boat around here because.
Your rod tip almost touched the water on that. DeBona, you're distracting me.
But as long as you have some play, you could kind of try and bounce it out of that hole. And you really want to get it out because if you happen to get a fish, you're not going to even know it.
Well, John, on a hookup, will some of these bigger tog get right back in that hole?
Yeah. So when you do hook a fish, you want to lift your rod up, fairly high and crank to get that fish away from the structure that was holding him there. So he doesn't go back in, or your sinker doesn't catch up. So you want that off the bottom right away. Whereas my buddy Chuck would say, right quicker than a hurry. See, the boat's turning right now. That's why. Yeah. So this
current's picking up. Captain Kenny Gallup just said the current's picking up. That should pick up the bite.
Yeah. So I need to get out of this piece here and get a little more serious fishing going on. A good tip when you're using crab bait is to use a scissor to cut the legs if you're going to cut the legs at all. What happens is
fish on.
Oh, we got a fish on behind me. He took my tip. What happens is when you rip the legs off, you're pulling all the meat out of the sockets, and then when you go to put your hook in there, it's too hollow inside. So by cutting at the joint, you're leaving it intact. So when you put your hook in, it has a good bite. And you want to leave it there like that. So good practice is to use a scissor, as such.
Captain Jay, guys, see we have a little tog here, a little blackfish, just a little bit shy of the 15-inch minimum limit, but you'll notice rounded tail, rounded dorsal fin, rounded anal fins, and they are, unlike the Brielle cousins, they have a sort of a blunt nose here, and they have some bad looking choppers. Can we get a close up in here? Look at those. Now, Jake, they'll grab mussels and clams and crabs and lobsters with that, and then they'll crush them with the teeth back here in their throat, correct?
Yes.
That's it. And unlike the Brielles, no scales on the gill covers. Totally scaleless. A little bit of tog fishing trivia, just so you know, for means of identification. Now go back and say, come on and eat.
We got him on a white legger.
On a white legger. Go.
Ready for a great day of bottom fishing? Then hop aboard T-Rex Charters with Captain Tom Ferreira. Running from Little Egg Inlet on a roomy 23 Pacific skiff, Captain Tom will get you to the wrecks and reefs in no time and turn you on to fast rod bending action. Quality tackle and fresh bait are provided. Enjoy the best bottom fishing along the Jersey Shore on T-Rex Charters. Call Captain Tom at 609-661-3966 or go to trexcharters.com. Spring, summer, or fall, you'll catch them all after shopping in Captain Dave Scholl's Absecon Bay Sportsman Center. Here you'll find an outstanding selection of tackle, rigs, lures, and a full selection of live baits. The expert staff will outfit you with what it takes to catch stripers, fluke, weakfish, blues, and blackfish. Experience the Atlantic City area's great inshore and bay fishing on a charter with Captain Dave. Call 609-484-0409 or visit abseconbay.com.
When it's time to go fishing, be sure to visit Dow's Boat Rental for all your tackle, lures, and bait. This full-line tackle shop offers the latest in rods, reels, and lures to fit every budget, and it has New Jersey's biggest supply of alewife herring and a full selection of live and preserved baits. And when you're ready to experience the fantastic fishing available in Lake Apacon, you can rent a rowboat or motorboat here at Dow's. Stop in and see Lori, Jimmy, or Joe at Dow's Boat Rental, located at 145 Nolans Point Road on beautiful Lake Apacon. Call ahead 973-663-3826 for a fishing report on Lake Apacon, only at Dow's Boat Rental. Keeper! Got us a keeper!
What do you want to do with them?
Whoa, Johnny! Whoa, all right! Whoa, that's what I'm saying! We got fish, we got fish, we got fish! Look at this, look at this! Yes!
Not only did they get the snake out,
You got
they got the fish out with it.
and he had a fish on all the while?
All the while. Okay, let's look at this keeper!
Grab that fishy hooker. I'm going to show you a nice, neat little way of getting the hook out without even touching the fish.
Hang on,
Wait. If I did that, Jake, it would fall in. Okay, that's one keeper. Let's show.
Make it?
Let me see. Yeah, that. But
I think you should make it.
Yeah. 16. First keeper. Okay.
But Jay, so
Yeah.
I was using a white legger there on the bottom, half a white legger, and it's a nice hit. Tugging real good on the way up, and I thought I lost him there for a second. He started swimming towards the surface, I guess, but he was there. Nice keeper blackfish on the big kid.
Now here we had, Tom had a snag, and
I cried like a baby.
cried like a baby. I figured, let me try helping him. Meanwhile, he had fish on. I got the snag out and recovered the fish, although it's a short. Not to handle the fish and take away their protective slime coat. If you use the hooker in this fashion here, and with a flip, this fish will come right off the hook. Now I'm going to do it over the side here. So now hands free, you didn't touch the fish, taking off that protective slime coat, and you got your hook out, and these are nifty little fish dehookers.
Made by Anchorman.
Made by chucktheanchorman.com. There you go. Good.
Let him bite! Jake! Let him what are you using, a snail?
Yeah, he took the meat right off, but didn't get high enough to get the hook.
Don't you hate when that happens?
Yeah.
And of course we have a delicacy for lunch here, yellowfin tuna
Sesame encrusted by
Sesame
John the
encrusted.
Chef DeBona.
with a nice garlic sauce that I pick up from my local Chinese restaurant.
True or false? You taught Rachel Ray how to cook seafood.
True. I'm going for the last piece.
Very special angling companion on the board today, Captain Al Ristori, saltwater editor, North Star Ledger, Metro editor, Saltwater Sports and Magazine for many years. Al is the dean and doyen of blackfishing. Al, you've been talking how many years? How many decades?
It's decades now, yeah, probably about since I was a kid, so 6, 7 decades,
Now, Al,
Nothing
originally
much.
you're a New York, Long Island boy, so you've fished tog pretty much up and down the northeast coast, correct?
Right.
Jersey have some of the best blackfishing going?
Oh yeah, Jersey's one of the best. I mean, there's good blackfishing all the way from basically Massachusetts, Rhode Island, right down. I've caught them in Pamlico Sound, North Carolina, even.
Wow.
They have a pretty big spread, but they're not migratory fish, though. They're just localized populations.
Al, now the heyday you've seen of tog when it was really good. Go out there were no limits, really, no length limits, no bag limits. All the restrictions the past, 10, 12 years, I mean, make it sometimes almost impossible to keep fish. And you mentioned they're not migratory. They migrate then east-west as opposed to north-south.
Exactly.
Have you seen the populations stabilize, increase, decrease? Just say the past 5 years.
I don't think it's done very well. I mean, we still have good fishing, but it's nothing like obviously what we used to have. And the irony is that in the old days, when there were no restrictions at all, you could keep them any size, as many as you wanted, all year round. There was no problem with the fishery. Year after year after year, you went out there and you caught these fish in big quantities. It was unbelievably consistent fishing. What happened was, of course, when the live fish market started, that was the whole key. That's the only that if you eliminated that, you wouldn't have any problem.
Captain Al, go into, it seems the recreational sector is being penalized because of that. Go into that live fishing. What's that all about?
Well, the Asian restaurants like live blackfish. They like live fish of many kinds, but the blackfish is their particular favorite. And so once that market started, and blackfish in the old days were worth virtually nothing. They weren't, for fishermen, they weren't worth the money to throw them in a fish box, because a fish box would probably cost more than the blackfish they get at the Fulton Fish Market. It just was really very few people that ate them. Though sport fishermen did all along, but there was just not a commercial market for it. So as a result, there was no pressure no commercial pressure on blackfish at all. So all this tremendous recreational fishing that was going on, it really didn't hurt it because they could keep up with that pressure. But once the live market started and they started paying several dollars a pound for little blackfish, all of a sudden everyone and his brother was out there catching them commercially, and it became a very valuable fish. And whenever a fish gets valuable,
there you go.
The population goes straight down, and that's what happened with blackfish. And that's the solution to the problem, is simply to eliminate that market. I mean, without all these other things that are being done by the regulatory bodies.
Well, you've served on fisheries councils in a Mid-Atlantic region. Is there anything being done to try to stem this? Because when the management plans are drawn up, again, they're pulling out with a recreational take when really it's, I guess, a legal commercial take, so to speak. And yet we're getting shorter bag limits, reduced bag limits, and longer length limits.
Right. Everything is being done on the recreational side. The commercial side is regulated also, but that's only the legal commercial. These fish are worth so much money that there's a huge illegal fishery going on all the time, and you don't have the personnel to enforce it, to enforce the regulations, and so it goes on. As long as something's worth enough money, there will be illegal fishing. There's no question about it. But that would be the solution. I know Frank Pallone did have a bill in Congress to make blackfish a game fish. So federally, if we could get something like that passed, that's all we need. We wouldn't need all the rest of this stuff. But I don't hold out a lot of hope for it, because once again, now there's a lot of people making money on those fish.
Well, tog blackfish, a very slow-growing species. I understand from some of the biologists I've spoken with, they'll spawn anywhere first time from 9 to 11, 12 inches, somewhere in there. But then you can get a 20-inch, 25-inch blackfish, 10, 12, 15 pounds. That thing could be up to 30 years old,
They're very old. The big fish are very, very old, right? Naturally, that's why they're hard to come by, with all the pressure that's on them. But you still catch the occasional really big blackfish, and but it's a real trophy. If you get a 10-pounder, it's pretty much like fluke. If you get a 10-pound that's a doormat. Same thing with blackfish. That's what the most anglers are looking for, that 10-pounder.
But have you noticed? So I mentioned the past 5 years that more restrictive recreational on length and bag limits. Has that helped improve the fisheries? It seemed like a status quo. Because I don't catch many.
Yeah,
I go
right.
a lot, but I never catch much. But we know that. But so what do you in your experience? 'Cause you're on the boats all the time.
It's hard to say, but I mean, it's got to have helped in some fashion, obviously, because anytime you reduce pressure, it's going to help build a fishery. But it hasn't done what should be done. And the big problem, from my point of view, is I don't think we should be, the ASMFC, the Atlantic States Marine Fisheries Commission, should be regulating the fish. It should be the states, because as you noted, these fish don't migrate north and south. They come inshore and offshore, east-west, and as a result, we're fishing on our own fish. If we screw up, if we overfish, we're gonna reduce our population. But it has nothing to do with what's happening down in North Carolina or Massachusetts.
Right.
Those fish aren't moving along the coast. You have a little movement like between New York and New Jersey. We're fishing the same fishing grounds, for instance.
Right.
But if the neighboring states did a cooperative plan or something of that sort, that would be better than doing this one size fits all that the Atlantic States Marine Fisheries Commission does, which often results in there was a tremendous reduction. They were putting in a tremendous reduction in the catch for this year. Then they redid their statistics and gave us a little more.
I want to mention
back.
that there's a glitch in the data. Still, the data being used is flawed data. The limit was supposed to be only 4 beginning of November, but it's back to 6. But who knows what the future holds? What happens after January 1st? What happens the next year? There's new meetings coming up in February, March. So it's a constantly changing thing, and it seems that this was the exception, that they jumped it back up to 6 from 4, but it just seems more and more restrictions seem to be the norm.
That's right. Well, I think that's what we're going to be living with for a long time now too, and unfortunately, I don't see where it's going to change. You never know what the statistics are going to come up with. I mean, I mean, sometimes you scratch your head and at some of the statistics they come up with. For instance, they have shore fishermen in New Jersey taking tremendous amounts of fish in the first survey period, March and April, and we all know that there's no blackfish inshore in March and April, and yet they have us catching hundreds of thousands of fish, and it's impossible, and yet statistically that's there, and that's one of the things that determines how what the regulations are going to be, even though anyone that knows anything about the fishery knows they're wrong. So,
well, hopefully this new saltwater registry of improved forms of gathering data from recreational fishermen will help somewhere down the line. But right now, I'm hoping there's hundreds of thousands of blackfish right under the big kid here on this reef. Let's go fishing, Captain.
Okay.
By the way, last time I had a chance to fish with Captain Al Ristori off Key West way back in what, 95, 96? You were sporting a new Crocs. It was about that time ago. And man, did he put the stomp on the amberjack. Okay, Skip, let's get some fish.
Okay.
Enough talking. Let's jab it up.
Sounds good to me.
All right.
Ready for a great day of bottom fishing? Then hop aboard T-Rex Charters with Captain Tom Ferreira. Running from Little Egg Inlet on a roomy 23 Pacific skiff, Captain Tom will get you to the wrecks and reefs in no time and turn you on to fast rod bending action. Quality tackle and fresh bait are provided. Enjoy the best bottom fishing along the Jersey Shore on T-Rex Charters. Call Captain Tom at 609-661-3966 or go to trexcharters.com. Spring, summer, or fall, you'll catch them all after shopping in Captain Dave Scholl's Absecon Bay Sportsman Center. Here you'll find an outstanding selection of tackle, rigs, lures, and a full selection of live baits. The expert staff will outfit you with what it takes to catch stripers, fluke, weakfish, blues, and blackfish. Experience the Atlantic City area's great inshore and bay fishing on a charter with Captain Dave. Call 609-484-0409 or visit abseconbay.com.
When it's time to go fishing, be sure to visit Dow's Boat Rental for all your tackle, lures, and bait. This full-line tackle shop offers the latest in rods, reels, and lures to fit every budget, and it has New Jersey's biggest supply of alewife herring and a full selection of live and preserved baits. And when you're ready to experience the fantastic fishing available in Lake Apacon, you can rent a rowboat or motorboat here at Dow's. Stop in and see Lori, Jimmy, or Joe at Dow's Boat Rental, located at 145 Nolans Point Road on beautiful Lake Apacon. Call ahead 973-663-3826 for a fishing report on Lake Apacon, only at Dow's Boat Rental.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah! JK, bring it up, bring it up, bring it up!
Jake.
We got us one! We got us one!
I was just gonna move too.
Yeah. Look at the bone, I got it. Look at the bone, I got it. Look at the bone, I got it. Come on, Jake, come on, bring it up, bring it up, bring it up!
You gotta hit him in the head with the net so you knock him unconscious.
Oh yeah, Jake! Captain Jake on the tape! Captain Jake on the tape! Hey, yeah! Woo! Talk in the house!
I thought it was a 10-pounder.
That is at least 10 pounds. Look at the size of that hog, man. Look at that, look at that, look at that. Captain Jake, talk to me. Show me that fish. Show us that. Now that is a specimen hog. Beautiful fish. He's what, about 4? 3, 4? Okay,
Yeah,
2,
3,
3, 4. What'd you get him on? What'd you get, a white legger?
White legger.
Look at that perfect hook set right there. Because Jake has the reflexes I had 35 years ago.
Yeah.
All right.
35 years ago.
Nice fish.
Got the hook out already?
One for the box.
Good, man.
Nice,
Hey, where do we put it? Where do we put it? Where do we put it?
fish.
Where's the box? Where's the box?
Right where the captain is.
I'll put it in the boat.
You gonna bleed him?
Nice fish. Can we get a net, please? Can someone get a net, please?
I got it.
Jake, the man, you're the one you got. Dead stick in time with Captain Kenny Gallup. Oh yeah!
Got wings.
That's a skate.
Shark.
Doggy!
It's one of those.
Al, you want to comment on this?
That a spiny?
Oh, it's not as big. We could eat this, right?
You want them?
I want him. Garbagefish.com. I'll take his ass.
You
want
fish and chips.
No, let him go.
That was on a crab?
Yep.
By the way, he wants to know. See? What, you want to get your own?
I'm here with John DeBona from the Fisherman magazine. John, that was one tough day talking. You were right. This isn't drop and reel sea bass fishing. I thought it'd be a lot easier than it was.
Well, I was expecting a little bit better day myself, but you know, we did get a couple of fish, but nothing to write home about, unfortunately.
John, Captain, we were on the Axel Carson, the Seaguar. Captain Kenny had us on various structures. I mean, some fish were there. We missed some hits. The bite was very, very, very soft.
And we've heard from other boats in the general area too, and likewise, they just were not getting fish today for whatever the reason might be. There's so many different factors in the conditions. You know.
I say this calls for return engagement. You are invited.
Thank you.
Join us again.
I definitely would do it.
Tough togging in December. Axel Carson and Seaguar Reefs with Johnny DeBona from the Fisherman magazine. Thanks Captain Al Ristori, the North Star Ledger, Captain Kenny Gallup, and Captain Jake, who was first made all the way. That was tough fishing. Tom
Indeed.
P, Garden State Adventures. We will be back.